All right, ladies and gentlemen, let's get into it. Let's get in. Let's do it. Let's fall in love. Check the stream in your social. I don't know how to do that, bro. I don't know how to do that. Love when they put in new features and I have no effing idea what's going on. Uh-oh, somebody's got an upset tum-tum. Okay, let's see if you can hear me, butches. Let's go. Hello, Benjamin Joint. What's up? How are you? First one. What's going on, man? Here we go. All right, so we know that at least Facebooks are working. That's 5. Paul Collins. Nell Zone. What's up, everybody? All right. Woogie. We got some Twitch info coming today. No, actually, it's more like a Twitch. Hey, this stuff with Twitch, we have no idea what's going on, but we'll talk about it anyways, because I rarely have any idea what's going on. It's just a way of life. Comptonius. All right, buddy. Well, hello to you too, sir. Martin, what's up, man? Martin got to bust out the new Sandberg for a little rock video shoot for my cousin this week. So sick. It's so sick. I'm so delighted with it. It's just the most gorgeous, gorgeous thing in the world. I mean, you know, except for the other basses. It's like they're all equally gorgeous. I don't know which one's my favorite. I can't really tell you. All right. Everything's working great. Look at this. Everything's all fancy pants. It's all fancy pants. Okay, let's get a little light over here, and I'll figure this out as we go. All right, 6 o'clock. All right, ladies and gentlemen, let's get into the main feed, and away we go. Here it is. Let's adjust this. My fancy tripod known as my computer tilt. Because we just shoot on little computer cams. It's no big deal. Hey, what's up, Ezra? How are you doing, Christine? I will not forget to record. Thank you very much, but don't feel free to remind me again. Paul Collins sando, like as in a sandwich sando. I did have a nice turkey sandwich earlier today, so it's pretty good. A real girl herself fired that bad boy up, and it was delicious. What it was, it's delicious. Hello, Carol. How are you? Jason Brown, what's going on? Yes, I know, Adam. All professional and stuff. Got an orange and black shirt to go in my orange and black office, go in my orange and black theme. That color made an imprint on me, dude. There's no question about it. That's correct, Martin. Every base has its own special place, its own special purpose. I think I can flash. I don't know if you guys get to see what's on the wall over here, but let's take a look. There's one Sandberg. I can't do it. I can't do it. Right now, the Sandbergs, of course, are the favorites. Eric Fisher, what's up, man? How are you? Paul, got the fan figured out? No, not yet, but Apple did just come out with some new, they came out with some new products. So we are looking now at the M1 Studio Mac because that will be cheaper now that they've come out with the brand new M2 Studio Mac. And we don't need a whole lot of horsepower here. We're not doing any kind of 3D rendering, nothing like that. By the way, this is, I got this for Christmas from a real girl herself. So what a great mug. Christine's, yep, base flashing, correct. So we're looking at possibly upgrading this iMac Pro from 2017. It's still an absolute beast of a machine. It does everything. The only problem we have is with the fan once we start recording. Yeah, D79. Throw them likes up, man. Throw them up. Throw up them likes. This is what the kids do. Throw up them likes. Probably likes with a Z. All right, let's get queued up. All right, getting ready to go back to main. I think we got a fun episode for you guys today, so I think you're going to dig it. Let's go ahead and turn off this fan. And now it's time to cook. It's like being in Breaking Bad. It's time to cook, except their cooking is making meth and my cooking is an office that heats up in a hurry. All right, ladies and gents, let's get rid of the timer minus. Bada boom. How we doing? How's the crowd today? How is it? Nice, great crowd. Christine had to upgrade computer. Yeah, it's always a thing. All right, ladies and gentlemen, story time. I look like a ghost in a mausoleum right now. Very bright-faced is what I am. And that's it. That's what we're going to do. Let's go ahead. Number one. Oh, coming up at the end of this, after the story, we got fun stuff to talk about. We have a new advertiser, so we're going to pimp that out. There's a new story out in print and on Kindle. I will tell you all about that. And I will tell you about Twitch getting twitchy. It's like getting jiggy with it, just not nearly as fun. So let's see. Let's get our sleigh lower third up. Boom. Check our volume levels. Looks good. Let's have some fun and read you guys a story. I just saw Rob jump into the chat room, so I am moving the chat away from where I can see, because if Rob's in the chat room, I will not get any reading done. I'm already laughing. He hasn't even fucking chatted anything yet. That guy, I swear to God. I swear to God. Little burp for you. All right, now, teleprompter up. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, let's get into story time. Recording. Previously on Slay. Lincoln was on his way to pay first installment of treasure to Callista when he was jumped by Finish the Job Johnson, who knocked Lincoln unconscious. Meanwhile, work on the Old Stone Church continues as Ariella takes on more debt from unknown sources. Eager to find some way to bring in money, Magda let Billy convince her to start a company that will sell funny t-shirts. All they need now is the right idea. Billy sat at the kitchen table with Magda. She wore pajamas. So did he, which made him feel small and stupid, especially considering the workers who walked through the kitchen carrying paint and other supplies they were using to fix up what had once been a community room or something like that. Every time a worker passed, Billy shrunk in on himself a little. "How about Dix?" Magda said. "You know, like Twix, but D-I-X. And the candy bars look like little chocolate dongers." They were brainstorming ideas for her company. The company might or might not be able to ship actual chocolate. Billy didn't know much about that, but it wasn't the point. T-shirts were. Ray Ray Rerun had made good bucks off of his ideas. If Ray Ray could figure it out, so could Billy. He would figure it out for Magda. She was so interesting. Clearly, she was a badass, strong black woman that could lay down some damage. She had been a Rixator, like Lincoln, but someone had hurt her real bad, which turned her into an agoraphobe. She had been nice to Billy. Well, nice enough, anyway. He found himself wanting to help her, to give her something of her own so she felt like she was contributing. Magda didn't seem to realize how much she already brought to the program. She kept Lincoln's gear in top shape. She was like Whistler in Blade or Q in the Bond flicks. She worked on magic weapons, for fuck's sakes, and she was teaching him how to do the same. That was a baller job. But if she needed to bring in some green to feel better about herself, he would try and help her do just that. "Dix is too forward," Billy said. "Gotta be something a kid could wear to school and get away with it. You know, if no one looks too close. That logo, the Twix logo, and a pair of candy dicks, that's not gonna work." Magda nodded, pushed the paper and pencil across the table to Billy. "Your turn," she said. "I know my next idea won't work either." A worker trudged in. Billy shrunk into himself, waited for the man to pass into the common room. "Don't know if you won't tell me," Billy said. "What is it?" Magda held her hands up like she was framing a movie marquee. "Ding dong, chocolate schlong." Billy laughed. "Yeah, it's not going to work." Magda looked away, stared off, her eyes unfocused. "I wish I was with Link," she said. "It ain't right him having to go face Callista alone." Lincoln had gone, Magda had stayed. She hated herself for it. Billy wanted to keep her mind on other things. Worrying about Lincoln would do her no good. "Maybe something about a particular kind of candy," Billy said, "instead of riffing on a copyrighted brand or whatever." Magda's eyes narrowed. When she did that in confusion or curiosity, the 3 ragged scars on her cheek seemed to pull closer together. You mean like Chef's chocolate salty balls from South Park? Yep, Billy said. Just like that. Magda leaned back in her chair. Another worker entered. She tracked his every step. Before sitting down to talk, she had duct taped a holstered pistol under the table, just a quick reach away. The worker left the kitchen. She relaxed some, pondered the candy conundrum. Maybe something with nuts instead of balls, she said. Like, when I was a kid, a Hershey bar had a fuck ton of almonds. Nowadays, those water-hoarding cheapskates put like 3 in there. So maybe we play on that. How about a candy bar called Nutless Wonder? She was old, maybe 35, but she was getting the idea. That's not bad, Billy said. I could see that on a t-shirt, but, you said fuck ton of nuts. That's a dope name. Or maybe fuck ton o nuts, with the apostrophe, so it feels more old-timey. Can't use the word fuck on shirts, though. Asterisk, maybe. Maybe another way to spell it. He started scribbling, looking for alternatives to her idea. Magda's hand slapped down on the paper. I got it, she said. Give me that pencil. Billy handed it to her. In the Bastion, one of my trainers was Vietnamese. She started writing. He taught me how to use my favorite close-in weapon, the Trung Dao. Billy's face scrunched. Trung Dao? What the hell is that? It's a kind of a falchion, Magda said. The fuck is a falchion? Billy said. Never mind. Magda tapped the paper. How would you pronounce that? Billy looked at what she had written. P-H-U-Q, he said. I'd pronounce that fuck? Seriously? Your trainer's name was Fuck? He pronounced it more like Fook, Magda said. But you pronounce it like the dirty word. Would other people do the same? Fook, yeah, they would, Billy said. And he realized where she was going with it. He smiled wide. Clever girl. Fuck ton o' nuts, spelled P-H-U-C. We do it in a crazy font logo so you can't see what it is right away, Mags. Mags, that is perfect. Another worker entered. Billy shrunk down, feeling like a turtle, and waited for the man to pass by. But the man stopped. Lil B? Billy turned in his chair. It was Monty Harris, white paint spots on his mahogany skin. Monty was from Billy's hood, had graduated 2 years ahead of Billy. Sup, Lil B? What are you doing here? Pajama party or something? Billy went cold. He'd been recognized in the one place he was supposed to be hidden, the one place he was supposed to be safe. Lil B? Magda shook her head. Don't know who that is. This my cousin Marcellus. Billy saw her hand slowly reaching under the table. Was she going to kill this guy? Billy stood suddenly, put his body between Monty and Magda. Hey, Monty, Billy said. It's been a minute. How you been, dog? Monty smiled, gave Billy a hand clasp, and pulled him in for 2 solid thumps on the back. I'm good, Monty said. Been working construction. Money's all right. He glanced at Magda, then back to Billy. I heard you was laying low on account of you taking out Big Hack. The words stunned Billy. Butch thought he had killed Hack? Hey, relax, Monty said. I don't give no 2 shits about it. What happened between you and Hack, it ain't my business, you feel me? The neighborhood code in a nutshell. Stay out of other people's beefs. It wasn't me, Billy said. I didn't do nothing to Hack. It wasn't me. Which was the truth. Billy hadn't killed Big Hack. knife-toothed shadow creatures had. "Please don't tell Butch I'm here," Billy said. "Please, man, don't tell anyone." Monty looked at him for a moment, measuring, evaluating. "I believe you," he said. "Not that it matters if I do, because I don't care." He looked directly at Magda. "I won't say boo to anyone. Relax." Then back to Billy. "But you should know, Butch has the hood locked down. His boys are watching your place, watching it real close. You might want to see if your grandma can go stay somewhere else for a while. Good to see you, little man. Take care of yourself." Monty left the kitchen. Magda grabbed Billy's elbow, pulled him in close. "We need to fix this," she said in a whisper, one that carried anger and promised violence. "He can't know you're here." "You can't kill him," Billy whispered back. "If he's lying and he tells Butch, that Butch, he's going to come for you. You know that, and you still don't want me to hurt him?" Billy nodded, even though his thoughts were already elsewhere. Butch was scoping out his home. "Monty didn't do nothing wrong," Billy said. "He shouldn't die for something that I did." Magda's eyes narrowed. Her 3 scars pulled closer together. "Okay, Lil B," she said. "I won't hurt him. I'll use a forget-me-dot. It's meshwork. I can make him forget he saw you, forget this whole conversation. Can you get him into the base of the bell tower? No one's there." That wouldn't be hard. He'd tell Monty he found something that might be valuable and didn't want the owners of the church to know. Because a lie was better than a bullet. "I can," Billy said. "You promise you won't hurt him?" "I promise. Make it quick, though, before he starts talking to the other workers." Billy believed her. He didn't want to see anyone else get hurt, especially his grandma. "I got to call home," he said. "I got to tell Grandma to get out of there." Magda shook her head, hard. "I told you before, no calls. The people who are after you, they know their business. You ring up your Grams, they might trace it back here. Don't test me, Lil B. Give me 5 minutes, then get Monty to the bell tower so we can Men in Black his ass." Magda hurried off. Billy watched the clock above the sink. He watched and he worried about his grandmother. Unsk, unsk, unsk. They played club music in hell? Not that surprising, come to think of it. Lincoln had always suspected he would wind up in hell, one of the patchwork's worst neighborhoods. Hopefully it was hell anyway. As bad as I'll do that whole line. Hopefully it was hell anyway. As bad as it was, the really bad parts of the patchwork were Micklin and Kasurgan. Nothing quite like spending a millennia in boiling black tar. Unsk, unsk, unsk. His body moved to the beat, but he couldn't move his body. He felt the vibrating hum of meshwork chains that bound his hands and feet that were undoubtedly wrapped tight around his cloak to seal it shut. His head throbbed like a Goldschlager hangover, but 10 times worse. With effort, he tried to open his eyes. His lids winced shut against a mirror ball assault of colored lights. Unsk, unsk, unsk. No, he wasn't in hell. This was worse. Well, look what the cat dragged in. The soft, malicious purr of the baddest bitch in Lumencia. Callista. Put him down. The world whipped in a dizzying blur. Lincoln thudded against the floor, right shoulder armor hitting first. Callista's club. The flashing lights, the swaying bodies, the tang of sweat, sex, and magic thick in the air. Sit him up so he can see me, Callista said. A strong hand gripped Lincoln's left shoulder, yanked him to a sitting position. The hand belonged to one Finish the Job Johnson. "Shit," Lincoln said to him. "When I saw you, I thought it was a dead man." The bounty hunter smiled. His incisors and front teeth were gold, with the letters done in tiny diamonds on each one. FTJJ. He wasn't black, he wasn't white, he wasn't Asian, he wasn't Indian, he wasn't Chinese, but rather a mix of all those things and none of those things at the same time. "The job was not to kill you," he said. "I was to bring you here. That job is finished." He looked to Callista. "You have my money?" She lounged in her throne, not a care in the world, a remorseless grin of absolute control on her luscious lips. Bobby stood behind her throne, the club's flashing lights playing off his bull eyes, his horns, his jet black fur, and the head of his double-bladed Labras axe. 7 of Callista's barely legal, maybe underage sex toys lay at the sides of her throne, their perfect skin gleaming. All looked at Lincoln with a dispassionate curiosity. Several of them had visible bruises. Callista played rough. She snapped her fingers. "Mercutio, pay the man." The skinny, leather-clad boy with the androgynous face stood, handed a small bag to Finish the Job Johnson. The bag clinked with a heavy, unmistakable sound of gold coins. "Thank you, Miss Callista." He reached into the bag on his right hip, a bag that Lincoln knew possessed the same otherworldly features of his cloak. FTJJ pulled out Bastard Maker, Lincoln's hatchet, and offered it to Callista. "You want this hatchet?" "Keep it," Callista said. "The spoils of war." Finish the Job Johnson slid the axe back into the bag. "A pleasure doing business with you," he said. "If you would like him dead or slowly tortured, perhaps with a nice blood eagle so that his lungs are exposed to the air they will no longer breathe, I offer a 20% good customer discount." "Hold on," Lincoln said. "Callista, I was coming to see you. I have—" She snapped her fingers, and Lincoln's jaw clamped tight. He couldn't say a word. He tried to call up Meshwork, tried to mentally reach into the endless, milk-gray void that existed within the Try that again, sorry. He tried to call up Meshwork, tried to mentally reach into the endless, milk-gray void that existed within the folds of his cloak. Nothing responded. FTJJ's bonds were too powerful. His was the rare and awesome skill set of a Bastion monk, both Rixator and Jurator, both physical and magic, both lightning and thunder. "FTJJ, our contract is complete," Callista said. "When it's time to end Lincoln Franks, my servant Robert will handle the task." Lincoln saw Bobby's bull eyes wince slightly. He would do as Callista asked. He wouldn't like it, but he would do it. Finish the Job Johnson placed a fist against his sternum. "I understand, Miss Callista. I offer the same discount on next job you have for me." "Marvelous," Callista said. "Gary, see him out." The tuxedo-clad satyr melted out of the crowd. He cast a quick, disappointed glance at Lincoln, then addressed Finish the Job Johnson. "This way, sir," Gary said. Cloven hooves clicking on the dance floor, Gary led the bounty hunter away. "Lincoln, I want answers," Callista said. "I sent you to fetch me the head of Ariella Goldsmith. As of yet, I have no head. You have failed me." She snapped her fingers, and Lincoln's mouth was again his own. This was not how he'd envisioned facing down Callista. On one's knees and bound in chains did not make for a strong negotiating posture. I can explain, he said. I was coming to pay you. We were making a change to the contract. Listen, my lawyer's going to break this down for you. Just let me get this globe out of my cloak and I can... Callista snapped her fingers again. The sound as sharp as the crack of a whip. Lincoln's mouth clamped tight. This was not going well. The sultry sorceress slowly sat forward, her stare simmering with anger. Lincoln Franks, you big, dumb fuck. I sent you to kill a lawyer. Now you tell me your lawyer is going to change my contract with you? She raised one hand, palm up. A small, white-hot ball of flame flared, tongues of flame dancing between her curled fingers. For the love of all your internal organs, and for the sake of your poor, poor defenseless son, that lawyer had better not be Ariella Goldsmith. The fire reflected in her hateful eyes. Lincoln, tell me the person I ordered you to kill is not your goddamn lawyer. Blazing hells. This was not going well at all. I mean, when you describe it that way, Lincoln said, it sounds a lot worse than it really is. In the flashing club lights, it was hard to tell for certain, but Lincoln thought he saw Callista's perfectly tanned skin start to turn ember red. You chose poorly, Lincoln. I'm going to hang your head from the disco ball so that all can see what happens to those who defy me. But I have info that... She snapped her fingers, sparks bursting from them, and Lincoln's jaw clamped shut again, tighter than before, so tight he thought his teeth might crack. Robert, Callista said, off with his head. The Minotaur's huge shoulders sagged. Mistress, are you sure? He's a Rixator. Former Rixator, Callista said. They'll still mark us, mistress. His brother is a hothead and will come for blood. His sister is bad news, and it's Lincoln's head or yours, Callista said. Choose, Robert, now. Bobby hefted his axe and walked around the throne. Lincoln fought against his restraints. He couldn't budge them. Finish the job Johnson had made sure of that. Lincoln tried to ask Callista to listen, but with his mouth clamped shut, he managed only muffled noises that sounded like whimpering and whining, sounded like he was a muzzled pig who saw the butcher's knife coming fast. It couldn't end this way. It couldn't. What would happen to Sam? What would happen to Lincoln's father? What would happen to Magda and to Billy? Bobby put a big, booted foot on Lincoln's chest and pushed down, pinning Lincoln's back to the floor. Sorry about this, Bobby said. I'll make a cleaner cut if you don't struggle so much. Lincoln lurched, or at least he tried to. Bobby's weight kept him locked in place. You're a fool, Lincoln, Callista said. You should have done as you were told. In your line of work, you know how betrayal ends. Sometimes you're the guillotine, and sometimes you're the head. Robert, do it. Bobby hefted the axe high. Muscles rippling beneath disco lights, he started his swing, then stopped suddenly when a woman's voice roared so strong and powerful it drowned out the endless unsk, unsk, unska. Cease and desist immediately! Lincoln couldn't believe his ears. Ariella? You, Callista hissed. You're still alive. Lincoln craned his head to see for himself. There she was, Ariella, who he had told to stay home, dressed in a red business suit with tall black heels, the pistol in her hand jammed under the chin of a visibly terrified Gary Sater. Yes, I'm alive, she said. Can't put one past you, Callista. By the directive of Ulumat's Code, Chapter 12, Section 4, Subsection B, harming my client at this time is a direct violation of patchwork law. Release Lincoln Franks immediately. She jammed the barrel harder into Gary's jaw, or the goat gets it. That was episode 23 of Slay. Hope you can catch the next episode for episode 24. All kinds of crazy shit happens. Good day. Woo! Well done. Come on up, baby. Yeah, the story snaps are going to drive Steve crazy. There weren't too many this time. It's not as bad. 2 episodes ago, I fucking screwed the pooch and just had it was a terrible performance. But beans and franks, boots and pants and boots and pants. That's what I should have used instead of unska, unska, unska. All right, guys. A's coming up. A's coming up. Whoa. She want the world to know she gonna let you go. All right. She's always complaining like, you didn't turn my headphones on. You didn't turn my microphone on. Like, who needs that to do a show? Who needs that, really, honestly? Thank you, Timothy. So you can hear the difference right there, right? I don't know if you guys can hear that. That's A's mic off. A's mic on. It's massive. Oh, hello, baby. How are you? Ladies and gentlemen.
You're so crazy. Crazy.
I'm an 80s kid, sitcom life. Speaking of 80s kids, ladies and gentlemen, I forgot to mention this, but this episode is dedicated to the memory of none other than the Iron Sheik, who has passed away at age 81. One of the greatest, if not the greatest heel of all time. Can't count The Rock because I gotta get my face over. Can't count The Rock because The Rock did heel turns, hero turns, heel turns, hero turns all over the place. So, but as far as a purely dedicated heel, the Iron Sheik, Iran #1, Russia #1, America, pui. Fucking brilliant performer, and just a beast on Twitter as well. Super fun guy on Twitter. They made it to 81.
81, good
WWE
for him.
Hall of Fame. If there's let's get the chat up. If there's any 80s kids in the house.
Oh, really? Do we have any Gen Xers in here? I think we've got
any Gen Xers who happen to be fans of the WWE.
Do you need to open that door or no? Are you good?
We can do it. I'm good.
Okay,
if you're good.
Yeah,
I'm good if you're good. All right.
I'm good if you're good. Am I good?
Yeah.
Oh, you're not familiar with that. Okay.
Get your mic over if you're going to make a joke.
Sorry, I was making sure that my sound was off.
Anyway, so cheers to all of you. Thanks for joining us on this Wednesday.
And cheers to the
Cheers to the Iron Sheik. You stupid Bubba. His tweets were just fucking amazing.
So amazing.
You stupid shit, Bubba.
The only one. So these are sort of unrelated, but sort of related. Very recently, there was a
Whoop.
oh.
Sorry, continue, babe.
There was a Hulk Hogan, maybe not very, but recently there was a Hulk Hogan tweet saying like, "Bam Margera, I miss you so much, man. Rock on, I miss you, brother." And Bam Margera answered and said like, "I miss you too, but I'm not dead." And today when the Iron Sheik, the obit for that happened, I was like, I guess I have been missing him in non-absentia this whole time.
There you go.
Yeah.
Gen X, that's right, the last of the tough kids, Paul. Exactly. There's that one meme going around with a guy in a jacket walking through the hall and doing an impression of Gen X kids, then Gen Y, then Gen Z. It's very funny. But I'm not going to tell you about memes that I saw once on the internet because that's entertainment.
Hello, fellow kids.
Hello, fellow kids. All right, let's get into it. Let's see. I stopped recording. Steve, I'll get that uploaded for you later. I did do the iceberg. Boom.
Yeah, well, that's we've got the July 1st one is coming up.
I did the graphic and forgot to save it.
That's okay. July 1st. I was there for just a little bit, but some of my girlfriends were there too, and I think we made a whole rowdy house for a while. But I'll probably be there also on the 1st of July. But it's 7 hours long because Steve is willing. Oh my goodness, what a good guy! Steve is willing to spend the time. His goal is to span time zones so that if if, it starts at 4 p.m. California time, but you're in Australia or you're in Norway or who knows where, you can join when you want to because there'll be some span of time. I'm going to be there. I'm almost always joining around 6 p.m. California time, which is 3 hours after the thing starts. But
There you go.
did you fix it?
No, because
you just took it
I
off.
did it. I think I forgot to save it and
that's
overwrite
no
the stupid
worries.
thing. It's no big deal.
But definitely, D79 on YouTube says WWE lost a lawsuit over their name.
Yeah, that's
yes,
right.
they did.
Yep.
They actually, didn't they lose it? They're the WWF now, right?
No, they were the W.
Oh, and now they're the WWE. They're
now WWE.
Yeah, because World
Yep.
Wildlife Federation. But that makes sense because they
What's
were around
going
like
on here?
60
Hold on a
years
second.
before.
I screwed something up audio-wise. Let's do this because you are louder than me.
Oh.
Check.
I
Shit.
am never louder than him, ever, sirs and
Ladies
ma'am.
and gentlemen,
Never.
in the interest of harmonious matrimony, I'm not going to counter that line at this particular time.
Oh, no, I mean only on the mic.
Oh, on the
Obviously, I am the loudest motherfucker in this house. Do not worry. But on the mic every time, like his signals are way big and mine are tiny. And I don't know why. So.
Steve Riggenberg, did you see the screenshots I sent you? No, I don't know if you're talking to me or not. Anyways, let's go back to
You
chat.
might be talking to me.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, let's go. So, what we have to talk about this because Mama and Papa got to pay the bills. You know what I'm saying? We have a new advertiser, so we're gonna talk about that for a minute.
Yes, we will. Steve was talking about the last happy hour. I didn't see those until
All
I'm
right.
definitely coming the next.
Here we go.
On July 1st.
Boom. Whoops. Hold on, I screwed that up.
Oh, we're going to do the advertising first?
No, I just, gosh
We can do
darn-
this. Why not talk about it?
Okay, yeah, you know what? Good call. Nope, we're going to fix this right now. What the hell? Oh, talk for a sec.
So what I will say is it's been a crazy week. Last week, we talked a little bit about the idea that sometimes getting older and health issues and family issues sneak up on you. And is it time?
There it is. All right.
There it is.
So
I'll
now
just
we're
say,
switching from the happy
all I was
talk
going to
to...
say is my dad is in great shape. He's doing great. That was the talky talk I was
This is
doing.
our new advertiser. If you guys are listening to the podcast now, I recorded some voiceover spots for these or ad inserts for this company. This company is called Factor Meals, and you may have heard them in the podcast, you may not. I think they're dropping in on other people's podcasts. Who can say? But we thought we'd give you the quick rundown because we try and use every product that advertises for us, advertise with us, and there you go. So Factor Meals. So the basic offer is go to factormeals.com/Sigler50. And if you do, then you have to use the code Sigler50, except I think that code automatically fills in.
If you click there.
Let's click anywhere here, code 50% off. And code, Sigler50, if you can see that tiny thing, is already, whoa, that jumped up a notch.
No, that's okay.
Already applied. So that's the basic gist of it. But let's go to, just to show you guys, we actually use this. They send you a box of stuff, and in the box has these little servings, right?
Yeah, these little pre-packaged meals. Now, here's the interesting thing about Factor. If you guys are meal planning services people, you'll understand this. If you've never gotten a meal in a box through the mail, listen to me. There are many different options. Some arrive frozen, some arrive pre-chopped, some arrive where you get the whole ingredient, like a scallion, and you have to chop it up. Factor meals, they arrive never frozen. They go into your refrigerator and you have to use them within 7 to 10 days, depending on what they say. The smoothies and stuff, those last a lot longer. But all you got to do is pick the meal you want, put it in your microwave for 2 to 3 minutes, depending on the package details. And we haven't had a bad meal. We haven't had one bad meal.
Daniel Baker, I do not think Factor Meals was a Pretty Reckless song. But we're just going to give you a quick, since we're pimping. Whoops, hold on.
So we chose, I believe we chose the
There we go.
The chef's
So
choice.
here's how they
you make
come.
a bunch of choices, and this is the chef's choice: chicken with tomato and
Now that does
broccoli,
not
I think,
look
right?
very appetizing right there. Let's be honest.
it's
But
so good,
hold on. Give me a sec, babe. Having all kinds of troubles today. There we go.
That's okay.
Let's do this.
We'll do it live.
And then we do it live, and then boom. Then it's this was what the other one was.
That was the other one, but these are the first meals we had, and we tried them both. And I'll be honest, as you guys know, I've talked about a million things I cooked. I cook all the time. I prefer to cook our food. These are all fantastic. All the ones we've had
They're pretty
are
good.
fantastic. I didn't take a photo today. It has been a very busy day, but today
Way
I
to go,
had them.
Benjamin. Benjamin says his roommate already got these and he's going to use the code. You are the
Yeah.
man, sir.
Now here's the thing: never frozen, fresh food. I appreciate we have another photo. Like this is how it shows up because it looks a little like a little whatever. But then
That's
once
how
you
that shit
plate
looks on a
it,
plate,
it
son.
looks lovely once you cook it up and you obviously. I didn't. The
What was that
only
stuff
thing,
at the top that was like a
was like
grits,
a-
cauliflower grits?
No, it wasn't. That's the other dish.
Okay.
This is cheddar potatoes.
That cheddar,
and
the
they
cheddar
were
potatoes
so good.
were smoking.
And
so
I,
I'm
well,
not
just-
lying.
I just
I ate
wanna
this fast.
say,
Good.
To this plate that you see here, that's a thing I plated. And the only thing I added was that little cluster of parsley from my patio. That's
Yeah, she
all I
grows
added.
that shit herself, man. And then this was
And this-
that's just the
that's
other
the same
side.
one, yeah, that's the same
wait.
one.
This is party in the business in the front, party in the back, son.
And it's so weird. So I'll tell you guys, we're not obligated to do any of this. This was just so fun, and the food
Look
is
at Rob's
good.
question.
Yes, Rob. Thank you so much. They have. You can choose a keto meal. You can choose a low-calorie meal. You
Vegan.
can choose a vegan meal.
Vegetarian.
You can choose a vegetarian meal. You can choose a meal with allergies, which we didn't do. And you guys all know. And if you don't know, I'll tell you. I have a severe mango allergy. I carry an EpiPen. It's so disastrous. But I looked at all the meals and there was no like fish with mango salsa or whatever. So I was like, yeah, choose whatever. Choose
No, Rob,
chef choice.
Rob Otto, they do not have cannibal meals. Otherwise, I
don't,
would have
yeah.
got those. And this is what came in the box. So
and
we got.
this, if you look along that back wall there,
Okay, go
go
ahead.
ahead.
No, go ahead.
If you look along that, but I was just saying, like, we also got some smoothies, and the smoothies did have mango, but I didn't look at any of those meals. But
Shannon, I don't know about gluten free. I'll take a look while A's
yeah, there
talking
are
here.
some. Yeah, and he'll look up. There are some. So the nice thing about Factor is there's a lot of selectivity. Like you can say, I have this allergy, I have this need, I have this whatever, and then they'll show you. They won't accommodate for that. Like they won't make you something special, but they will show you the meals that fit your requirement. And I didn't think about smoothies, so I only looked at all the meals.
Plans. They got Chef Choice, Keto, Calorie Smart, Protein
Yeah, do you
Plus.
want to show this?
Yeah,
that
yeah,
you're
yeah.
doing?
Good call.
Yeah.
You son of a bitch.
And it's been good for us. And this has been a weird couple of weeks because my dad
There
got
we go.
sick without me knowing, So this was really nice
Okay.
because he still got to eat and I still got to eat and all that stuff.
So this is Chef's Choice, Keto, Protein Plus, Calorie Smart. You can pick all these or some of these, vegan or veggie. They don't seem to have a gluten-free one, but you know what? Go to their site, ask them. But if you do sign up, use the code because that gets a puppy paid. Paul Collins, they do not have puppers. I'm trying to find. We got to go to a Bevmo. Got to see if they have any puppers.
Puppers really
No, I've
exist
looked.
yet.
Puppers absolutely exists.
Really?
It really exists. Puppers really exist. Puppers, of course, from
Are
Letterkenny,
you
which is
just
my favorite
saying
show.
that because you love Magda?
What?
Does it really exist? Really exist? Is there really a puppers?
No, I think. Oh, I see. It's similar to the Magda thing. I think what it is they have made it because it's on the show. Is what they have done.
Oh, I love that too.
So, all right.
This
So
is
let's get
actually
through our
kitchen.
pictures.
Do you have any other pictures? Yeah, this is actually our kitchen and the meal we got. This is the meal I ate, and that's the cauliflower grits, which were
Cauliflower grits were fucking good, man.
they were so good.
If you'd have told me like, hey, I'm gonna make some cauliflower grits, I'm like, that's gonna taste like fucking wallpaper paste, and I'm not gonna eat it. I ate all of it. It was great. And then here's we got don't really have an order. Here's like come out.
This was our
Ba-boom.
first one. Yeah, this was the first one. So they're so easy to use. They show up fresh. Now we've also done HelloFresh.
Paul Collins says yes. Puppers is Canadian. So.
Oh, thank you, Paul Collins. I've also done Blue Apron on my own when I got divorced and was single and I wanted to cook good food. And I've also done Shaker and Spoon. Okay. And I'm not talking about any of those other paid services as a bad thing. But what I will say is so far my Factor meals, these are the only ones that haven't had like expired ingredients
Michael
here
Grace.
and there.
Michael Grace is an 80s kid. Mel, kiss my grits.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't know what that meant when I was 10, but I thought there was something about that woman. I'm like,
Yeah, she
I don't understand why keep looking at this person on this show, but she's very compelling.
She looked like a
Turns out,
skinny Dolly Parton.
no, she was not skinny. Oh my goodness. On
Flo?
was Flo Kiss My Grits?
Yeah.
She was skinny?
A little skinnier than Dolly Parton.
thought she had some
or
junk.
maybe less.
She had some junk in that trunk, son. And
Maybe less booby.
even as a young man, I knew, like, apparently I like a little bit of junk in the trunk.
Also engaged lots of other people who were not looking at the
So
trunk.
we'll finish that up. That is it. So again, if you're interested, go to factormeals.com/Sigler50. Make sure the code Sigler50 is in there in your coupon code sign up. You get half off your first box. The other thing is some of their selling points, this stuff is cheaper than takeout. It is faster than takeout. It takes 2 minutes to prepare a meal. You put it together, put it in the microwave. You are done, son. So we're fans. We're fans.
Yeah, we've tested. We ordered a full box, which was I think 8 meals. We have 2 left. They have all been wonderful, easy, 2 minutes, one and done.
All right. So now we're moving on to before the show. I told you guys we've got a. Let's see if the book one works right back. If I mixed them up, try and find my books. We have a new book out. We don't really have a new book out, but God darn the darn. I got them confused.
That's okay.
What I have to call that up though.
That's still okay. You can do that.
Upper left. Change this.
Oh.
Change this to Safari. Double Trouble. Bang! There it is. There we go. This book just came out. It is Double Trouble, an anthology of two-fisted team-ups. It was out June 1st. Now, I forgot I'll show that in a second. Anyways, the pitch of this is this is the International Association of Media Tie-In Writers. And that is an association I'm a member of because I did the Alien stories and the Predator stories. And this is a fundraiser for them. So, they take the movie. It is edited by Keith R.A. DeCandido, who is a big media tie-in guy. He's written tons and tons and tons of stuff. Turn that fan on, Pumpkin. And now, keep in mind, I would like to point out, the paperback is $19. The hardcover is $29. So honestly, only if you are diehard collectors should you get in on this. My name is not in this little list right here. There's some kind of screw up at Amazon. My name is on the cover though, right in this area, Scott Sigler here. The point of the book is they take 2 media properties that are in the public domain. So that means they don't have to pay nobody. It's not copyrighted anymore. That means everything at this point, I think it's older than 75 years unless Disney owns it because they've been able to back copyright a bunch of shit. Like you cannot Disney is very powerful.
But you just did this with a different book ages ago. Alien.
No.
No,
Alien?
not yet?
That's a licensed property.
Well, I'm just talking about Alien and Predator.
Yes.
Alien and Predator.
Alien and Predator are copyrighted works. So the only way you get to write those is if you go through 20th Century Fox and now go through Disney. What I wrote about was The Island of Dr. Moreau and Little Shop of Horrors. Because the original Little Shop of Horrors is now passed into the public domain. So the trick to this was I couldn't do anything that was unique to the Rick Moranis, Steve Martin movie because that stuff's still under copyright. If they did anything unique to the property that wasn't there before. So I could talk about Audrey 2. Mm-hmm. I could talk about the carnivorous plant. I could talk about all that stuff. I couldn't necessarily quote song lyrics that were in the 80s version. So Island of Dr. Moreau, which is... Shit, I forgot who wrote that goddamn thing.
Island of Dr. Moreau?
The Island of Dr. Moreau is H.G. Wells, who's a beast, you guys. H.G. Wells is he is just a king of the genre, kind of like, him and Mary Shelley kind of made the whole genre of science fiction. So I got to write about the Island of Dr. Moreau. I got to write about, and you may ask yourself, how did Scott possibly combine the Island of Dr. Moreau and Little Shop of Horrors? Well, I can't tell you, but what I can tell you is this collection... Oh, I'm not good at this. 8 more. This collection also has Kevin J. Anderson, Maurice Broaddus, who's just amazing, relatively new. Jennifer Brody, who's a pal of ours.
Funny.
Deborah Dodge, Delilah S. Dawson, who's fantastic. Keith R.A. DeCandido, who is the editor of this as well. So there you go. So that is a new story that is out from me. It is in hardcovers, paperback. I have no information on the audio version. I will not be able to podcast my story for free for another 2 years. And don't know if it's going to be an Audible or not, but I wrote a story. So therefore, if you want it, you can go and get it.
And because a lot of his work for hire is governed by these contracts, at this moment, since it's just published, we don't even know if he can record it himself.
Also,
but I think so.
Also, you guys, If you get this and you leave a return because somehow my name got left off the whole thing, several authors did. They're trying to figure it out right now. Make sure when you leave those reviews, if you get it and you enjoy it, make sure you say, I bought this because of Scott Sigler.
That would be very helpful.
He's so pimp-tastic. He's like a lollipop just walking around on two legs with his big bald head. Does not mean you can lick my head. That'll start a fight. I guarantee you. It's happened in the past. All right, so there we go. That's it. Now it's time for questions, and you can ask me. And you can ask me anything you want. This used to be a temporarily favorite show until Letterkenny showed up. And now Letterkenny, of course, is the bomb.
Oh, you mean Schitt's Creek? Yeah.
Schitt's Creek was a fan.
It wasn't temporary.
Season
we
one,
loved it.
We loved it. But I'm saying, as far as like, this is my favorite show, Letterkenny's the top of the heap right now. I'm just dying watching that.
But he's right. If you have never heard of Schitt's Creek and are going to watch it because we are saying it was awesome, here's how we watched it. We had several people we love and trust say, listen, you have to watch until the last episode of season 1. And if you still hate it, fine. And I think I watched until 7 out of 13. And I think he watched until about 10 until we were all in.
It's phenomenal.
It's phenomenal. And there's many more seasons after that. It's wonderful.
Not as good as Letterkenny. I'm going to call that shot right now. All right, babe, let's get on to the questions. We have a question there for me?
We do. If anybody else has questions, you can ask them right now.
Throw them in the chat room if you got questions.
I just have to call this.
Call it up. And she was marvelous. Just marvelous in the show. So funny.
Question from Sean.
Yep. Sean Dyer asked, okay, go ahead.
Are there still some mechanics of the magic system in Slay that you've only just nailed down recently?
Absolutely. Still working on the magic system. I am keeping it because I've studied some of my contemporaries who like the Iron Druid series and what's the Jim Butcher series?
Dresden. The
Dresden Files. Mm-hmm. Looking at doing one of these magical-based series, which I've never really done before. I dabbled my toe in the water with Hunter Hunterson and Sons, but looking at doing possibly a 5-book series on this and over the next 10 years or whatever as part of the podcast, I've got myself in an enormous amount of trouble writing hard science-based horror because there's once you set down the rules. Yeah, something funny?
No, finish.
Oh. Once you set down the rules, part of the game is I have given you the rules and the structure on how this universe operates. Like a very specific Brandon Sanderson style of magic. Like here's all the math, here's how it all works, and everything I will tell you will operate within these confines. For the purposes of writing Slay every Friday, then reading it live to every Wednesday, and then podcasting on Sunday, kind of doing the stories as we go, that wasn't going to work because that's what slows me down an enormous amount in the work that I do. So Slay Magic System is a little bit more abstract. I do have the general tenets of it, but it's not going to be as locked down as a Brandon Sanderson magic system. It's going to be more abstract.
And I will say this, the universe that they live in is locked down, at least as far as I can tell. Absolutely. But how they play in that universe, because Scott doesn't often write outside of this universe, that will play a little bit. Will play a little bit. You saw what I was laughing at.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
I already
so
showed
here's the thing. Here's the thing.
Hey, Jenna
Leah. So nice to see you. I'm so glad you joined when you could. The next question on YouTube, or the next comment on YouTube, was from D79, and they ask, what does that mug say? And I will say... You can say.
This is a Christmas present from this hot redheaded piece of ass that I've been known to hang out with every now and then. And she got me this for Christmas and is now embarrassed because I'm going to show it to everybody. Yep, there you go. I love her butt. And since my wife bought it... Since it was a Christmas present and I did not buy it for myself... There you go. You can't cancel me, bitches. This is a present for my wife. Suck it. There you go. Woo!
Okay. I mean, listen.
Well, it's truth. It's truth in advertising.
It is.
I love that. I love that big rump. I like it. I'm not going to lie to you. It's fantastic. Is that bothering you? No. Me talking about your rump on national television? No? Okay.
I'm just saying. I normally manage which...
You are so red, baby. Holy cats.
I normally manage which mug is on TV, but this afternoon he had a sore throat and he asked me to make tea, and I did, and that was hours ago, and I didn't think about it, but I bought that mug for him because...
All right, so we got a question here. How have the segments progressed in watching The Mandalorian and Marvel? Well, we finished The Mandalorian.
And loved it.
Season 3 definitely got a little bit long in the tooth in the middle episodes. But dude, the last 3 episodes, I was just straight nippy hard on the whole time. The whole thing, I was so because we almost stopped. We almost stopped in the middle of season 3. We're like, you know what? Season 1 and 2 are great.
Together.
This really isn't. I mean, this is a little bit boring and not very well thought out. But when sticking with it, the last 3 episodes were friggin' phenomenal. We still have not got back on Marvel. We still haven't gotten over Loki because Loki just told us that the entire continuity you guys have been spending 120 hours of your life watching, none of it mattered. None of it mattered at all. So
And
we
it's
haven't quite gotten
interesting-
over that yet.
It's interesting. I'll take a second and talk about that. We see the continuity that we have been paying attention to right there very differently. I see it as a how you tell the story, and he sees it as the story, and both are true. Loki, on its own, was an interesting,
Great show. Wonderful show.
an
Loved it.
interesting, great concept. It weirdly said if you go on in this, there are like you're in a Back to the Future timeline and you don't know which one lands, right? Like you don't know where it ends, at least for me, right? And that's okay, but we haven't come back to it because we've been doing other stuff. But still recovering a little bit. But what was the other one? It's Loki and Marvel. Marvel we haven't gotten back to. We did watch a whole bunch of Star Wars, and I think we both are probably when we're ready to series again, because we've
Andor?
been doing that for a whole a whole year.
We've heard so many good things about Andor.
And we've been dually doing 2 different series for almost a year because he had seen more movies in one than I had seen, and I had seen more of the other than he had seen. And so now we're a little maxed out and we're just watching short things. We're watching movie reviews or
ton of Letterkenny,
yeah, which are all a half an hour long, which we did before the pandemic. We did with the same thing with The League, which are short web series.
Shots fired. Jenna Leah says Andor is overrated.
Yeah,
we
it's
are.
good.
We do want to get back to Marvel because I started out with Scarlet Witch, shitting all over it. I shat on it like I had accidentally eaten a box of X-Lax thinking it was a Hershey bar with almonds.
That's still so.
And
much info.
I even texted Dan and Rob who are in the house right now. I'm like, what is this fucking garbage? This is so bad. By the end of it, being a kid, being a 70s and 80s kid, by the time we got about halfway through, I was hooked. And by the end of it, I'm just like, I need to clean it. It was phenomenal. So I'm waiting for Doctor Strange and the Mountain's Mouth of Magic's Madness.
And also,
we got to get to that, and then I'll be happy.
Star Wars, we have had it. We just like The Mandalorian, especially Mandalorian season 3. We've heard from people we love and trust, like, oh no, done, and also people who are like, yeah, it's valuable, but it's a little hard in the middle there. And we've heard the same thing about Andor. So we're choosing when to watch Andor, and I'm not going to lie to you, we are absolutely choosing when to watch Andor because we love The Mandalorian, how it ended so much. And we understand from
another ding on Andor. A lot of plot holes in that, according to Michael Grace.
We've heard this, and we've heard from people, including you guys.
Did we talk about? There was all this. We had all this confusion because we get back into the Marvel thing. All right, we'll watch the next Marvel thing. We started the first episode of Falcon the Winter Soldier. It was very good. It didn't really hook us. We're going to get back to it eventually because we want to get to the Miss Marvel series because A has read all of those comics.
That's
so
the only comic series I've read cover to cover.
So we're going through. We go back. We're going through the time. Now we've been through this timeline 100 times. We go into the Disney app, go to Marvel, go through it all. We've looked at them all. We've gone through all that stuff. And all of a sudden, the fuck is this? There's a Spider-Man in here.
Oh, that's true.
And it was Spider-Man Homecoming, and I was like, where the fuck has this been the whole time? Turns out there's some contractual shit. I don't know, but it's they didn't have it in the timeline, even though it was a Sony movie. It was full on in the timeline, and it was fucking fantastic. I loved it. I loved Mike. I didn't know Michael Keaton was in it. That's how out of it I was. And Michael Keaton showed up, and the Vulture costuming, they modernized it and roughed it up. But then there's a scene in there, no spoilers, there's a scene in there near the end where he's just Michael Keaton, doing his Michael Keaton thing. And he's got puts on a jacket, and it's got the big fur collar coming down. And the 12-year-old me lost my fucking mind because Spider-Man was my main comic. Spider-Man and X-Men were my main comic books back in the day. I couldn't, it was like Rogue One. You watch Rogue One, and the people who wrote Rogue One have watched all the Star Wars movies over and over again. They have all the toys at home. They know everything about the continuity. They tied it all together. That's how I felt watching Spider-Man Homecoming. Go ahead, babe.
I just wanted to say, with Michael Keaton and that fur fringe on his bomber jacket.
Oh, my God. It was just
he
so good.
Stopped.
It was so subtle. It was just so good.
He stopped the movie, got up, and paced in the living room to tell me how that was a very subtle callback, which is useful because we already have that shorthand. I have not read any of that. I don't know any of that.
Good,
if there's something that somebody wants to that is important to him that he wants to see come to fruition, I want to know so I can see if it comes to fruition. But I haven't done that. I can't say that word.
My hard
fruition.
Fruition.
I've been saying that wrong.
My hardcore nerd days for comics are the Spider-Man. With Goblin, Hobgoblin, Vulture.
Doc Ock.
What's that? Doc Ock, Tarantula. That whole era when I was a kid was just magic. And then, Daredevil fighting Gladiator and the Punisher. So the Daredevil series, 3 seasons of that were pretty good. First season of Punisher was pretty good. But like that whole era whenever I'm watching one of those shows and they dip into the old bag of tricks and they don't explain it. That's sort of the beauty of an Easter egg, really, for the old school diehard fans. And we had this huge discussion about that, comparing Homecoming to some of the newer Star Wars movies. And we're like, Star Wars movies basically just sort of started over with some common themes. And watching Homecoming and the Marvel movies, like they did a lot of hat tipping. They were like, here, listen, you're an old dude now. We've got to move on and get new, younger audiences. We got to get them into this. So we're reworking a bunch of stuff and we got new look, new feel. But here's a cookie for you because what Spider-Man Homecoming said to me was, they're like, we wouldn't be here making these movies if it wasn't for you nerds who bought all of our shit back in the 80s and the 90s. So therefore, here's a little cookie for you. Thank you. And I took that cookie and I said, you're welcome. You're very welcome. And I enjoyed the shit out of that stuff. And I can't wait for the next one.
And there was another thing they did, which he doesn't see because he took the first cookie, which is like, hey, listen, I appreciate that you might be coming to this because you married this glorious human.
Wait.
He read every comic book for ages, and you haven't read a single comic book, and you never read a comic book before you were 40.
Oh, Michael Gray's Incredible Hulk comic books. They were so good back then, dude. So good.
But Homecoming did a thing where they were like, cool, we're hat tipping to you, but we're also
David Lamb
extending a hand and letting somebody like me who had never read a comic book before they were 40 ever come in, and we both got to enjoy it.
Let me answer David Lamb's questions. Are you excited to see Michael Keaton's Batman in the new Flash movie? First of all, I will say that I think he's phenomenal. I think Michael Keaton just completely makes everything he is in better instantly, no matter how dumb the story might be. And you guys have seen some dumb Michael Keaton movies. He's great. So I kind of want to see it. I'm not a big DC guy. I don't have canonical knowledge of the DC universe. I didn't read a lot of it. My buddy Rob used to read that stuff back in the day.
And also Stephen King.
So
Stephen King's a big DC
our friend
guy.
Stephen King, yes.
Yeah, not the author, our friend.
So Stephen King's a huge DC fan. So I probably will watch it at some point, but that brought up this is like a whole separate episode. The Ezra Miller stuff, which is very seedy and gross. And then you're like, well, I'm not going to, why are you guys releasing this movie? There's a million. And then you're like, yeah, that's a good point. Why would you release it? Why would you promote this shit? You got to remember, there's like thousands of people whose art and industry is a part of that movie. So then it's a very complicated.
It's very hard.
It's very hard and complicated. If there's a piece of shit human being who happens to be in a movie, do you write off that movie? No stop. Write that full stop. Write that movie up full stop. What about all the other people who are good people who are paying their bills and making beautiful, beautiful things?
And let me just add this note. So on principle, it's easy to say, yes, let's not encourage piece of shit human beings. Full stop.
Sean X-Men cartoons.
But
sick. So sick.
If there is already a product that has a 500-person staff, the people who did CGI, the people who did walk-on roles, the people who did part-time roles, like smaller roles, all of those people will get residuals for that 6 months that they spent in their career when they were in their career, before they
point,
were
Steve.
a music teacher or whatever, because now they're too old to be in movies as an extra. Those people will get those residuals, and that makes a difference. And we have actually dealt with this in our actual business once or twice, and it's a very hard decision. And there isn't a perfect answer. But I believe, like, I'm not sure we'll see anything that is Ezra Miller. From Ezra. In DC. But what I will say is that has probably more to do with how busy we are than how offended we are. Because we also know that any movie that has literally any cell on the big screen, that's like a 300 to 500 person staff.
Yeah, it's just so many people involved with these things now.
And we didn't know that before we started pitching. But
Rob,
that's
I don't
really
know
true.
if they're restarting the 90s X-Men cartoon from where it left off, but I think they've done, and I've missed a bunch of X-Men movies because those just they were like lukewarm soup, a lot of them. Eventually they just got to be so-so. So I haven't been on those, but so to sum it all up, we're going to go back through Marvel because now I want to see the next Spider-Man movie because I thought that was amazing. What was the first animated one?
I don't know, because Sean is sassing me.
Ezra, okay, say it, try it. Ezra Fruition.
It's not
say
both.
It,
it's the first
it,
word I can't say, but
say
I'll try. Ezra. Oh my goodness! I'm my mother. Hang on. Ezra Frisch. Nope.
That's not fast. Say it. It's 3 times fast.
I cannot. And here's the thing, Sean. You just let me know that I'm like my
Into
mother.
the Spider-Verse was amazing.
Because
Loved
my
it.
mother legitimately cannot say the word Mitsubishi quickly. So I'm going to do, what was his?
Ezra Miller. Rich, you are correct. Multiplicity was amazing. Oh, Ezra Fruition.
Ezra
Fruition.
What? Esma. I just said Esma. What is happening with my face? Why does that happen?
I don't know. Good thing there's nothing happening with your butt, though. Yes.
I totally bought that mug for him.
Oh, Jason, that's sweet. Send me pictures, bud. Send me all the pictures.
Listen, Rob Otto, I love you to death, and you are completely correct. But I did just say asthma out loud.
Oh. Okay.
Esma.
Let's talk about Into the Spider-Verse for a second. That's another movie where holier than thou, Scott Sigler. Because listen, ladies and gentlemen, telling stories is my business. I know my business about telling goddamn stories. You know what I'm saying? I know my business. So when I look at a story and it's not good, I can assure you, the kid knows. The kid knows this shit. Look at my smug face. I know my shit. So Into the Spider-Verse, Cross Spider-Verse comes out, and I'm like, what? I'm like, what is this kids movie bullshit? What is this? Oh man, I'm not gonna watch this shit. And then we just randomly went to see it at the theater. Don't know why. Phenomenal. I was 100% completely wrong. Completely stick up my butt about that movie. It was sensational. So we can't wait to go see the animated one. We're waiting until the crowds die down a little bit. You know, we don't want to mess with this stinky proletariat. It's just, also disease. We only go to, now because of our job, we're going to go to a movie on Thursday at noon. Because we can, and it's also, we get to walk, there's a theater right down the street. So we're going to go check that shit out.
We can walk there, and we're pretty much alone if we're going during the weekday, so we do that.
Steve, let us know what you think about it. He's going to see Across Spider-Verse maybe tomorrow. All right. Artificial selection.
Hello, Tiny.
All of you people are fantastic. I'm having fun. I worked super hard all day long. I burned my little brain out. I overthought a story. As a shocker, I overthought the story that I'm working on. This one's for an anthology called Combat Monsters, and it's my last short story. It's my last short story for a long time, and I'm only doing short stories because buddies of mine said, hey, will you do a short story? It'll help us sell the book. I'm like, sure, I'll do it.
But this one.
And this one I'm doing right now is, this is World War II stories where a monster plays a critical role in a pivotal battle. and I'm not gonna tell you what mine's about yet.
Yeah, you can't say anything.
But I've already, I approached this, I'm like, you know what? I'll just keep this fun and light. It's like mention a battle. I won't get into the details and the history. It's going to be great. Be a lot of blood and stuff. It's going to be awesome. That lasted about 15 minutes. And then I'm on the internet like, holy shit, did you know this? Baby, did you know that they did this? Oh, holy shit. So now it's just packed with historical information. And I haven't even got to the bloody part yet. Not even yet.
Josh and Jen just showed up, so
Josh and Jen, what's up, girl?
Hello, tinies. We love you.
Yeah, Jen's in the house. Jen got a special treat. I can't mention to any of you yet, but she
knows
pleased.
what it is.
I don't know why I'm holding a pen like this.
Maybe
Pleased.
she's pointing it at the camera.
Oh, you know what you got? You know what you got to do with the pen? You got to be like, we have Jen in the house right now, and she is coming, and that is some wild stuff. That is some wild, fun stuff.
Wild stuff.
All right. Rob, I don't know what is not the Battle of the Bulging Crotch Monster. That's not an actual battle in World War II. I can't speak to your experience as a teen and as a 20-something, but that is not in my repertoire.
And Rich Hosek, the answer to your question, will Scott record the short story for whatever audiobook? Short stories,
Maybe.
Those work differently because we don't own them. We put out only the color collection short stories, and this is not one of those, so we don't know. We don't even know if there will be an audiobook. That's a good point, J-Ho. It's a work for hire.
Way back when the first big Mel Gibson controversy came out, A and I did, what was it? Friday Fix. We did a Friday Fix on this. J.O. says, I hope as there's movie success and becomes a bigger star, I hope Amber Heard gets villainous roles. I hope Jonathan Majors succeeds and we finally learn to separate the man from the art. It's super tricky. It's super tricky because again, I think if you want to take exception to me directly and my personal beliefs, and like, you know what, I don't want to read Scott anymore because how dare this artist talk about politics or what have you. And that's the very light version. There's also a lot of versions like, hey, this guy did some fucking nasty shit and hurt people.
And would like to continue doing that.
I'm not reading his or her work or their work anymore. That's the thing with a book. Even though there's still dozens, if not hundreds of people involved in the production of that, there's other people whose jobs are on the line. Man, when you get into movies, it's even the biggest star in the movie is still a very small part of the production. When you talk about pre-production artists, storyboard artists, writers going through multiple drafts, principal photography, set construction, prop construction, special effects, CGI, all of the editing, all of the cutting,
sourcing,
casting, all people, there's costuming, everything.
Yeah, costuming.
There are
scene or shot. The director who finds remote locations.
Yeah,
there's
casting,
so many.
sourcing, location. There are so many people who, number one, are at the peak of their craft and have worked their whole life to get to the point to make this for this movie. Then there are all the people who are just starting out, who are the first assistant, second assistant, who are like, this movie is their opportunity to springboard forward and have a career in the arts.
To get into a union.
To get into a union. And like, that's why SAG is striking right now in Hollywood, try and make sure that screenwriters can make a living at their job in the town where they have to be to write screenplays. All of these people are involved. Do you completely tank something because one person is a shitheel? It's super complicated. And then you add on top of that, the thing they're creating is a work of fiction. It's not a story about this person. This person is playing a role in a story. Separating the person from the art is super complicated. And
it's complicated and will always be. So I will say this, Dr. Ronnie C., thank you for joining us. Happy to see you. We're almost done. And I will also say there's a million reasons, right?
What's up, doctor?
Like to decide. But one of the things that I do personally is like, okay, obviously the one thing I do is I stop looking at who got paid how much to make this movie. Mm-hmm. It doesn't matter to me if they paid. I'm trying to pick somebody unproblematic, but I don't know how to do that. Julia Louis-Dreyfus.
Go Michael Keaton.
I'm not. I'm going to do Julia Louis-Dreyfus. If she gets a $200 million paycheck to make a movie, a superhero movie, which I don't think she will because she's too old and she's unfuckable, which is shit, I forgot.
Should've gone with
Amy,
Sedaris?
no, Schumer.
Amy
An
Schumer?
Amy Schumer skit. I'm not being shitty about her. That's it. Unfuckable is a skit. Look it up. But if she gets a whole bunch of $1 million, I still want to watch the movie for everybody else if it's worth it. So I stopped looking at, oh, is this a movie where this guy got this woman, this whoever got paid the most? And I look at a different metric. Who got paid the most? I don't care. Who has been in Hollywood the longest? I might care. Who advocated for this movie? I might care. Things like that. So it's like Scott said, it's impossibly difficult until there is an entry requirement that you are a good human being.
Yeah, and
I don't know how to do that.
Almost,
I don't know how you would do that.
Almost all of these situations we've run into, it's when something's already in process or it's done, or like, and that's a different thing. How do you take something where one person's a shitheel in this finished product that's already in the marketplace, and then completely eliminate it? Therefore, removing the work of all these other people. There is no easy answer. So there you go.
And there are listen, you guys, on every single movie.
Oh, Dan Baker,
movie,
Julie Louis-Dreyfus in the Marvel Cinematic Universe. Tell us more.
Oh, yeah.
Tell us more.
I didn't know that. But what I will say is every single movie you have ever watched has like maybe a cast of, I don't know, 10 to 60.
Probably.
Not the big ones.
Thank you,
but
Jason. I don't like spoilers, son. I do not like the spoilers.
And has a cast that's like 4 times as big. And we live in the cast realm at the moment, right? Like, we are not big players in this game right now. And so we're people who are like, I would like to be part of a 500-person team and make that the best movie we can make. And if one of the lead actors who might be 21 or something and do something shitty, or might be 51 and do something shitty, I'm not saying it's as you think. If they do something shitty 6 months after we wrap...
Crew, yep.
It's very hard to think about our entire shot, our first shot, being something that gets canceled because of the flash in the pan moment thing. And it happens, and it should happen, and it can happen, but I wish we could have a deeper conversation about it to say, cool, I appreciate you. This movie might not, we might not want to feature this lead anymore, but also this movie gives residuals to 560
well
people,
for now all the studios are trying to get rid of the residuals, so
for now.
Well, yeah, we've mentioned, I'm not going to tell you, don't look at the chat, but there's a reason to watch Falcon and the Winter Soldier. I want to get back to it, but
it's just that to me, though.
The first episode of Falcon and the Winter Soldier I was very, very impressed with. I thought the problems they gave the two characters were amazing. I was just watching the Winter Soldier, the first episode, the Winter Soldier's Bucky's internal trauma and trouble and trying to get on with his life. That's fantastic writing. What a wonderful situation. We'll see how they do with it, but man, it's so good. It's so good.
Soldier
it's just
where we
dark.
Meet Bucky?
What's that?
Is Winter Soldier where
we meet Bucky back in the Marvel.
That's what I thought.
Captain America, Winter Soldier. We meet Bucky now. We meet. This is what Marvel does. This is why Marvel pulls me in. Oh, sorry.
Oh, go ahead. Finish.
We meet Bucky in the first Captain America movie, and then Captain America, Winter Soldier comes later. Rob, hook us up.
We don't meet the Winter Soldier. We meet Bucky.
We meet
in
Bucky
Captain America.
In Captain America, the First Avenger. Yeah.
Listen, this is. You guys, it's 7:16, so go if you need to go.
Jason Brown says it gets a lot better. We needed a palate cleanser, and then we really because that's a dark. You can tell it's a dark show, and then we dove into Letterkenny, and now Letterkenny, those sweet ass 30-minute episodes. Those people are effing brilliant. I love that show.
And remember, just like your whole lives, like right now, we are dealing with a lot of stuff with my folks, who are very precious to me. I have a very small family. Scott has a much bigger family. Mine is quite small. And so, it's hard because if you have to decide, like I said, last night, I didn't stay here. I stayed up at my folks' house so they wouldn't be worried about my dad's easy procedure that went great.
Thanks, Rob.
The next day, today. But we didn't know that yesterday, right? We have all that. So sometimes you can't be like, okay, let's both watch. Even Falcon and the Winter Soldier is
not so bad,
deep,
Kevin and you,
right? So sometimes you have to choose for your mental state instead of your Oh,
I'm
that's
sorry,
what I
everybody's dropping
appreciate.
Letterkenny lines.
I
Everybody's
know,
dropping-
it's nice.
And he's talking about this super serious shit. And
No,
everybody's
I'm
dropping
saying the
Letterkenny
same
lines.
thing. I'm saying sometimes when
Oh!
you're dealing with big stuff in your life, you need the ease of use of an easy,
Mary.
non-problematic show. Mary Garrett has been talking for hours, literally. I think it's only been 15 minutes, but I'm so glad you're here.
Listen, I need to write a blog about my one of my favorite sports series, one seasons ever. I thought Shoresy was amazing. Shoresy is one of the coolest. What's the guy? Jared Kiso.
Jared Kiso.
Jared Kiso is the creator of Letterkenny.
Letterkenny and Shoresy.
And then he did a show called Shoresy. And, you watch Shoresy and you see Jared Kiso who plays Wayne. And you're like, oh, that's okay. He's got the one character. That's not such a big deal. And the range he had in Shoresy, taking a one-note comic relief, cheap character from Letterkenny. Keep in mind, I rewound all of the scenes, watched them on YouTube from Letterkenny, all the Shoresy scenes. They're amazing. And because he's always chirping, like that's what I do with my friends, just chirp at him. And then you watch him in Shoresy, and they start out with that same stuff, and then watching him develop and some of his just pure acting in that show, completely blown away with it. So now I'm all on a giant Jared Kiso Letterkenny Shoresy kick. It's a phenomenal show. If you've watched all Letterkenny, you haven't seen Shoresy, you should watch Shoresy. If you're a sports fan, you should watch Shoresy. It's amazing.
And I will say two things. As a person who
Haven't
grew
watched
up
Ted Lasso yet, dude.
Not a sports fan, I'll say three things. I will say we haven't yet approached Ted Lasso because we have too much else entertainment-wise going on, and we want to give it our full attention if we give it our full attention.
Let me answer your citizen goal here. Listen, we keep having a problem where Facebook and YouTube are not notifying people who are following us, who have the alerts to get everything we've got.
No, they were here.
Yeah, they're there now. So what you really want to do is SIG text to 855. Need some, babe?
Yeah, the mouse pad.
Oh, there you go. SIG text to 855-955-5095. We send out text alerts for new books, new stories, when we're going to go live for one of these shows to let you guys know, because everybody's busy. It's hard to keep track of this stuff. And then, of course, to be capitalist and pimp out new swag. But you should definitely send SIG text, SIGTXT, to that number, 855-955-5095. And then, fuck YouTube. We'll let you know. Fuck them.
Yes. And we just got notified, I think Twitch might be making some changes
Oh, I was
this
going to talk
summer
about Twitch.
and things like that. We're going to work that out as it happens. Twitch has introduced or mentioned that they may introduce a thing where you cannot simultaneously live stream anywhere else. I don't know a lot about it because we just had a gracious fan send us an email about it today, so I'll work it out and figure it out. But we'll figure it out. But who knows? Because as the world opens up more and more, things, corporations have to get back to their traditional business, I guess. And I think Twitch is maybe we'll figure it out as it goes. But just be forewarned that there are changes that are coming to live streaming that we can't control.
There's nothing I can do about it. Anyways, what she said, I'm going to repeat it because I got to get it out of my head.
Better that way.
Twitch is basically saying if we stream simultaneously on YouTube, Facebook, Twitter, anywhere else, Twitch is going to cut us off. I've looked into it a little bit. I don't think it's going to impact us because we're very small potatoes on Twitch. They're really going after the big Twitchers who bring in the revenue. So, whatever. If Twitch cancels us, it's no big deal. I don't know what to do. At some point, if they all do this, it's going to impact if we even do Sigler in Place because
of course.
We don't want to only do it on Facebook and then have people who hate Facebook say, "Hey, why can't I see you?" So figure it out. Yeah. Figure it out.
So anyway, it's 7:22. You guys have hung out with us way later than necessary, and we appreciate it. But I think we're going to be back next week. I will tell you, summer is coming. We have weird travel coming up. I think there are going to be some July missing episodes or missing live streams. But we'll figure it out. I will say, I think I can
let
say
that
this.
marinate.
We have talked this about the 28th, right?
What was the 28th, baby?
It's the birth anniversary.
Oh, yes. Oh,
so
honey.
All
my honeys in the audience. Listen,
what we're calling
this
our
is
birth-iversary.
This is how much that we love your butts. This is how much we love all of your butts. I'm going to get a new bug. I love all y'all's butts. Speaking of butts I love, our anniversary is coming up. I believe it is our third anniversary.
And my birthday. If you guys don't know, I think everybody knows. He said, I will marry you whenever you want.
What's up, buddy?
I decided that June 28th, which is my birthday as well, was the right answer because Scott forgets some things, and that was easier because I can't shut up about my birthday. So we're going to be here on June 28th, celebrating our birth anniversary.
I'm probably going to be completely drunk. J.O., when does episode 23 go up? That should be up this coming Sunday. It'll be in the podcast feed Sunday. Yep. But remember, these live streams are archived. So you can just, as soon as this episode's done, you go to Facebook, go back and watch it,
or YouTube,
anywhere else. Where's from? It'll be on Twitch in about 15 minutes, 20 minutes. Okay, so there you go.
Couple things you need to know before we sign off for the rest of the night is there are going to be some interruptions this summer because we are traveling to see family and friends and stuff. And secondarily, we are not choosing to cancel our June 28th cast. We would rather hang out with you guys. So we're going to do that. It's going to be silly. It may or may not have Slay in it. He just said he will be.
J.O., you missed. It'll be right back.
Intoxicated or whatever. And it's going to be fun. You guys are going to love it all, and we are going to love it all, and we love you, and we're so glad you're still here 3 years in.
Great. We are. And let's see. We will be back on June 14th, which is also a Wednesday, for Slay Part 24. I think the story's going to finish up about episode 30. So season 1 of Slay should finish about episode 30. I still got to work with Rob on that. So as you can tell, with roughly 6 to 7 episodes left, shit's going to get bonkers real quick. And so until next Wednesday, we want you to stay smart.
We absolutely need you to stay science.
And for the love of science, we want you to stay informed. Let's switch over to the main camera. The main camera, because I have the soft focus.
The main camera where
I want to be the governor of Arizona, and I have a soft focus on myself at all times and make myself fancy and good. Sorry, it's a little political. That's not even a political drip. That's a factual drip.
Just don't pick up the mug again. No, don't do it. Don't do it.
All right. I respect my wife. Respect my spouse. Till next week, we want you all to kiss off into the sky. You're all fantastic. It's not going to stop the big smooch off. It's not going to stop it. Ready? 3, 2, and...